Hello everyone, ex-Bethelite here. 2018. If by now we are not going to be 100% truthful and forward about Jehovah's Witnesses, then we never will. And again, it's not about being angry, it's just about telling the complete truth on a subject. And again, this is not about being offensive. It's about being truthful. Jehovah's Witnesses fall under the definition. I didn't write the definition. They fall under the definition of stupid and retarded. If you look up the definition of retarded, it's someone who is less advanced in their mental, physical, or social development than their age group. Someone that is less developed mentally and socially than what their age should be is exactly what you see with Jehovah's Witnesses, and it is the exact 100% reason why Jehovah's Witnesses that try to leave Watchtower oftentimes return. They oftentimes come right back, because a 25-year-old that leaves is more like, in their social development, more like a 15 or 16-year-old that tries to leave the environment that they're accustomed to. Obviously, you're going to have problems. You have someone 15 or 16 that leaves the house, they're going to make a bunch of decisions that they shouldn't, end up in all kinds of situations that cause them stress and trouble, and they're going to return to the environment where they feel comfortable. It's the same with Jehovah's Witnesses. People, especially that were raised as Jehovah's Witnesses, fall, a lot of them, under the dictionary definition of retarded. They are not developed. They are not advanced mentally and socially where they should be for their age. It's the honest truth. The word stupid, you're definitely dealing with a definition that is strong but fits Watchtower and the people in that organization, because you're dealing with an extreme inability to think or have common sense. And when you look at Watchtower's teachings, the only people who would believe teachings that make absolutely no sense, and I'm not just saying that because I'm awake now, even before they didn't make sense completely. It was just a lack of understanding and knowledge of what other people were teaching in comparison. There was nothing to compare it with, but it never made sense. One of the biggest teachings about the 144,000, or people who are supposedly anointed, that teaching has never made sense from the start of the organization all the way until our current day. And it's one of the foundations of the religion. So the concept that Jesus said he had other sheep that he had to bring that are not of this fold. Actually, the scripture, not the concept, was taken so out of context that I have other sheep that are not of this fold that I will also bring. Jehovah's Witnesses got from that scripture, there's a big group of people, some of them will be in heaven and some of them will be on earth. The reason why everyone else read that scripture and didn't come up with that answer is because that is stupid. Stop me when I'm being incorrect. I'm not concerned at the moment about being insensitive or trying to be sensitive or trying to find a way to kind of make it okay for what people did. I'm not interested in being sensitive right now. I'm interested in being 100% truthful. So comment down below where I'm incorrect, that getting a teaching or getting a bunch of teachings, a lot of Jehovah's Witness doctrine isn't necessarily in the Bible so much as it's just something someone with very little reading comprehension imagined by their reading of the Bible. In other words, it's not there. They just somehow came up with the concept by reading something unrelated. So the whole thing about the 144,000 that they read in Revelation, it doesn't say that in that scripture either that there's a group of people that are going to be on earth and then there's another group of people that are going to be in heaven. That's not in the Bible. And the whole concept is ridiculous. You have Jehovah's Witnesses to this day that are now partaking of the emblems. For Jehovah's Witnesses, partaking of the bread and wine means that in their mind they're going to heaven, and the ones that do not partake are staying on earth. Well, you have an issue here because according to Jehovah's Witnesses, there's no way of knowing who's going to heaven and who's staying on earth. It's just whoever kind of thinks that they're going to heaven are going to go to heaven, and whoever thinks that they're going to stay on earth are going to stay on earth. Now, they'll use some scripture that says something to the effect of a spirit witnessing with their spirit. But again, that scripture is not referring to a separation of people who will be on earth and a group of people who will be on heaven. It's just lack of reading comprehension. So when you have a religion built off a premise that no one in the religion has any idea of who is supposed to be in heaven and who's supposed to be on earth, other than, well, they kind of like this idea, so I'm going to go with the heaven idea, or I kind of like the earth idea, and I'll kind of, stick with that one. It's stupid. It's stupid to have a group of people believe something that ain't necessarily in the Bible, and it doesn't even really make any logical sense. So now that, Watchtower keeps saying that the end of the world is coming, and it hasn't come yet, and they've changed the teaching of the generation of 1914. If you're former Jehovah's Witness, none of this is French to you. You know exactly what I'm talking about. Since they've changed a bunch of the teachings, now all of a sudden, a bunch of people are partaking of the emblems. However, if it was God's Spirit that was telling people that they were going to heaven, they would never have had to wait for Watchtower to screw up a whole bunch of times to start partaking of the emblems. They would have always been doing it. there would have always been a large group of people partaking. Now all of a sudden they're partaking because, oh, well, Watchtower messed up on when the end of the world was coming, so it's kind of an open-ended thing, so I can just start partaking now because I kind of like the idea of going to heaven. You're dealing with the stupidest group of people, the stupidest religious body of people there are. I keep making these videos and I keep asking people if there's any other group of people that fall under the category of stupid more perfectly than Jehovah's Witnesses. Host them, and people can't even think of any other group of people dumber than they are. Or really, I will just keep saying stupid because I looked up that definition and they fit it perfectly. Mormons, you have a situation with them where they have a church that has a lot of activities, a lot of things going on that are fun, so to speak. It's a feel-good religion. Leave or take the doctrine, they have all kinds of games and basketball courts in all these churches and gatherings and fun things going on, and about everybody gets married. So the church, that particular church, is very successful in building families and building fun activities for people to do. So there's a reason for them to kind of overlook the whole Joseph Smith finding things, golden plates in the middle of New York. For Jehovah's Witnesses, there's no reason for them to overlook all the mistakes Watchtower is making, because the organization isn't really doing anything with regards to charity like the Mormons do. They're not doing anything with regards to making fun activities like the Mormons do. Kingdom halls are about as big as some people's, I don't know, it looks like a little garage. They don't have basketball courts. They don't have anything going for them. There's no benefit outside of if what they're teaching is accurate. Mormons have a bunch of benefits. Mormons have taken over virtually all of Utah, from my understanding. And they have malls, they have a college. You got a lot going for you if you are a Mormon, even with your doctrine being incorrect. If you're a Jehovah's Witness, you have nothing going for you with your doctrine being correct, other than you're just walking around knocking on doors looking like an idiot. So you can't compare them to Mormons. And with Scientology, you have to be at a certain level for them to tell you everything about Scientology. You can't compare them to Watchtower because it starts off as just really kind of a self-help type of a thing, where you take classes and the really crazy, stupid stuff, you're not even told about that until you reach a certain level. Jehovah's Witnesses, you go into the Kingdom Hall and they're talking about 144,000 and Jesus being Michael. This stuff isn't hidden. You can't say, well, Jehovah's Witnesses are stupid. Well, you have to say Scientologists are. Well, some of them are, but the crazy stuff is hidden from Scientologists until they reach a certain level. With Jehovah's Witnesses, pretty early on, you're getting hit with stupidity because there isn't too much in the religion that's not stupid. So imagine this. You lived through 1975. An organization you were a part of told you that the end of the world was coming in 1975. 1975 comes, the end of the world does not come. And you remain in the organization. Not only do you remain in that organization, but you tell your kids not to go to college because Watchtower said the end of the world is coming. The same group of people that were, it's 2018, so they were very wrong about 75. The same group of people that were that wrong about 1975 and constantly change their teachings because they're so stupid that they have to change them. That same group of people are the people you trust to tell your kids not to go to college because the end of the world is around the corner and it wouldn't make any sense anyway. That's stupid. That's not really indoctrination there. That's just stupid. That's just Watchtower accumulating a group of people who are just stupid. If you're in a Kingdom Hall right now, there is probably a 90% chance the reason you're there is because you're stupid. It's not about trying to be offensive. It's about you don't have any common sense. Otherwise, you would have caught on to some of this because it's not hidden, and there is a plethora of teachings that are all without common sense. It's hard to miss it. How do you miss all this stuff? You haven't missed it. It was told to you. It didn't make any sense. And you just decided, well, Watchtower has gotten 75 wrong. The generation of 1914 wrong. Not going to college being a good thing. They got that wrong. I'll just trust them on everything else they say. That is stupid. And unfortunately, if you take someone and raise them in this organization, in other words, Watchtowers, Awakes, magazines that are extremely simple, publications that are extremely simple, that's primarily what they're going to read, and they're not going to be allowed to be around people who are more complex than Jehovah's Witnesses. Jehovah's Witnesses are extremely simple. They don't get involved with anything, so they don't know about virtually anything. They don't know about politics. They don't know about what's going on in their city outside of what they obviously see. They haven't done, they don't know anything. So if you raise children around a bunch of people that don't know anything and you limit their reading material to things that are extremely simple and just really stupid as far as doctrines are concerned, they're just dumb. What's the chances that they're going to grow up underdeveloped, mentally not developed to where they should be for their age, and socially awkward, socially not developed to where they should be at their age? That is the definition of retarded. Now, granted, that is something that can be fixed. It's not a permanent mental state. When people leave and get psychological help if needed, or do self-help and try to deprogram themselves, it's something that can be helped. But you can't deny that there are a lot of people in Watchtower that are undeveloped for where they ought to be for their age. I've talked to people who are older, probably close to 70, and they have seen a lot. And they're still walking around talking about how Jehovah's Witnesses knock on doors, and they're so happy because they knock on doors, and I'm looking at them like, okay, but everything that they have taught you as an older member has all been wrong and has all been had to be changed. It wasn't that they changed it because, Jehovah's Witnesses say, well, when we find things wrong, we change them. Other people find things wrong, they don't change them. That is an example of stupidity, because Watchtower has had to change things because they've gotten them blatantly wrong. A lot of other religions, their doctrine, their core doctrine, they haven't gotten it wrong according to them. They're not changing it because they don't believe it's wrong. They're not changing it because they went through some kind of seminary and learned how to read at least. For example, the book of Psalm says that the righteous will inherit the earth. And all these people are reading the Bible, but the stupid person in the class, Jehovah's Witnesses, says, well, that means that people will just stay on earth forever that are righteous. Everybody else in the classroom knew that the book of Psalm is a collection of really poetry and songs, not heavy doctrine. But Jehovah's Witnesses, the stupid kids in the class, are the only ones raising their hands in that classroom saying that is where heavy core doctrine is developed, from a book of poetry and song. So Jehovah's Witnesses will go door to door saying, well, look, here in a book of poems and songs, it says that the righteous will inherit the earth forever. I mean, it kind of even sounds like a song. And this is where you should get your core doctrine. You have to be stupid to think that way. Let's just be honest. In 2018, let's just be 100% honest. I will admit that once I got back from Bethel, I was not developed according to my age where I should have been. And people would call me, salespeople would call me, and man, they would have a field day with me because my level of trust was at the level of a child. People would call me selling things and I would trust them. Why? Well, most kids that answer the door or answer the phone trust whoever is on the other line. They haven't developed the ability to be critical. That's something that you develop over time according to a certain age. I did not have that when I left Watchtower. Yet again, proof that this is just me telling the truth and this is not an angry rant. People think that because something sounds offensive, it must be an angry rant. No, there are certain things that are just true, even though it's hard to hear. Watchtower creates an environment where people who are in that environment for a long period of time become underdeveloped. According to the rest of society, they are not where they should be according to their age. Pure stupidity gets past them because they're retarded. According to the definition of retarded, they're not developed where they ought to be. They can't think critically. Anything Watchtower says, they believe it, even though half of what Watchtower said was wrong and they had to change it. They believe them every time they change something and get it wrong. There's no other group on earth. Let's just be honest with each other. Look up the definition of stupid. Look up the definition of retarded. There's no one watching this video that is honest with themselves, regardless of how things feel emotionally, that would argue Jehovah's Witnesses don't fit the definition of the term stupid. I've talked to people that admitted, yes, 1975, they said the end was coming. We thought it was. We got the math wrong when we were, adding things up and whatnot. And here they are, still believing any and everything Watchtower says. You're either stupid. This is the honest to God truth. You are either stupid, underdeveloped mentally and socially, or you are an attention whore and Watchtower gives you a title so you don't care that they get all of these things wrong. Because nowhere else that has standards would allow you to be any kind of a teacher with a title in their religious group. That's the honest truth. That's the honest truth. That covers most JWs, except for the ones that know it's false, but they're afraid because their family will shun them. I have literally covered virtually all of it. You're either stupid or retarded according to the definition of the term, or you don't care because Watchtower will give you a title and you're an attention whore, or you're afraid because your family is in a cult and they will shun you. That's the honest truth. Comment down below. And if you think that there is something inaccurate about what I have said, Jehovah's Witnesses are stupid, retarded, afraid, or attention whores, then post down below. We can have this discussion. But you can't use emotion to determine what is and what is not correct. So intellectually, look at the definition of stupid, retarded. You already know what an attention whore is. And every Jehovah's Witness knows about the fear they have of their family turning on them. And their really support group, family support group, turning on them. Now, I'm not saying that to try to, again, I'm not saying it to be offensive. I'm saying it to be factual. 2018, let's all just tell the truth. The 100% raw truth. Don't put sugar in it. Just tell the truth. Look at the definition. Jehovah's Witnesses are stupid, retarded. And for all of us that have been there, the ones that aren't stupid and retarded are attention whores. And they're for the attention, regardless of they know they're lying. And then you have other people that are trapped out of fear of losing family. Comment down below, let me know what I've missed, because I think I have covered it all. 937-789-4029. We can have a discussion on the topic. I prefer not to hear from people who are not Jehovah's Witnesses. They haven't been to a hall in 10 years, but they want to defend Jehovah's Witnesses for some stupid reason. You know what I mean? Because they're not there, so they don't know that this is true because they're not at all. So again, X Walk Hill Bethelite signing out.